is Stan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth, and I think it'd be pretty hard to find an average Canadian out there who would be okay with the idea that people with different viewpoints should be locked up and thrown in jail. Political prisoners is a concept that we usually associate with Nazis and communists. It's not something that's normally compatible with Canadian values. But according to David Suzuki, who actually once sat on the board of the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, it's one of Canada's largest free speech advocacy groups, jailing people for different political views regarding climate change is crucial. In a recent interview here with Rolling Stone Australia, Suzuki said, "I really believe that people like the former Prime Minister of Canada should be thrown in jail for willful blindness." And this isn't the first time that Suzuki has advocated for political imprisonment. In a 2008 speech at Montreal's McGill University, Suzuki tried to rally up the students and tried to get them to look for legal loopholes in order to throw politicians into jail if they ignored so-called climate science. Now, I'm not against throwing politicians in jail, obviously, but Suzuki's giving all the wrong reasons here for why we should. I mean, politicians standing up to the global religion of climate change and radical environmentalism is refreshing, to say the least. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Suzuki is right and we're doomed. Well, what makes you think that the state is going to fix anything? Both empirically and logically, we know that markets, that is, entrepreneurs working for consumers, are vastly superior to political deals and these unaccountable career bureaucrats. We know that pollution is a violation of private property and that there used to be a common law of tort that prevented companies from polluting their neighbors, but it was the state that intervened and overturned all these century-old rules in order to foster industrialization. And now the same criminal apparatus is claiming to be the only solution to a problem that they themselves have created. And the irony here is lost on Suzuki, who spent most of his childhood in a Japanese internment camp during World War II. You'd think that somebody whose family was ripped apart by the state and thrown into a camp and then dispersed east of the Rockies without any compensation would probably be weary of state power. But no, Suzuki wants the same treatment to the people who refuse to toe the climate change line. Suzuki calls inaction by governments an intergenerational crime. But the real crime here, guys, is state and corporate takeover of our lives. The real intergenerational crime is the amount of debt and interest that's left to future generations so that today's politicians can spend billions on this non-existent problem. And again, this video, today we're not debating the science here. Maybe you think that man-made climate change is a real problem. But contrary to what Suzuki believes, there's nothing that governments can do except saddle up future generations with debt. If you want to help the environment, how about we enforce private property rights to include pollution? And we let entrepreneurs find new energy sources instead of subsidizing failed technologies like wind power. But of course, that's not going to happen because the agenda here is power and control. The environment is really just a cloak to hide the true nature of this political corporate takeover. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check the links in the description for all the sources to this video so that you can fact check all this information for yourself. And also check the links to find out how you can donate to Press for Truth because we need your support. And stay tuned, guys. We've got more video reports coming soon to pressfortruth.ca.
We have to protect Gaia. Is that also a part of the agenda to formulate?
There is certainly no small dose of outrageous feeble-mindedness behind all this. This tends to go with I'm going to call this politically the left-wing or socialist or communist or fascist brands of thought.